When I say I work from home as a mother, the standard reply is always, "Oh, that's perfect." But that reply is never from another working from home mother. If you've ever tried to do any task that had nothing to do with your child when that child was home, you know that it's basically impossible. It will take, no exaggeration, 10 times as long to finish because kids are very demanding. And their demands are actually very reasonable and age appropriate. Like, they're thirsty, but they can't pour their own drinks yet. Or they just went potty and they can't wipe themselves yet. Or they just finished an activity and they're not able to set up a new one by themselves yet. Or just they did something they're proud of and want to show mommy. Literally today, I gave my daughter some new Play-Doh and thought that would buy me some time. But actually, the containers were so hard to open, it was hard for me. It took me a few minutes for each of those 6 little jars. Point is, I'm not talking about tantrums or demanding constant attention. I'm talking about like normal good kid behavior. So even in that best case scenario of kids always being good, you're not going to be able to count on even 20 minutes of uninterrupted work when they're around. Nevertheless, I do it. I can't say that it's better than going to an office job. It's certainly not perfect, but there's no denying that there are advantages. And I know it's a dream for a lot of working moms, or maybe even not your dream, but your reality, and you're struggling to make it work. So I've been doing this for 8 years, since my oldest was born. And I definitely did not appreciate that I was living life on easy mode before then. But over these 8 years, I've gone from being bad at it to okay, to bad again when we moved and the school day got a lot shorter, to where I am now, which I think is pretty good. So let's jump in. My first tip is you need some time when the kids are out of the house or you're working from out of the house. This is non-negotiable. If you are working even part-time, you cannot also be a full-time stay-at-home mom. I just moved from Italy, where the school day is longer, they stay till 4:30, to Switzerland, where the school day ends at 3, and they come home for lunch. So it's been hard to adjust to having less kid-free time, but I did it. After a month or so, I learned some new tricks. Biggest is gonna be tip number 2 in this video, coming right up. But the point is, doesn't have to be a ton of time, doesn't have to be 40 hours kid-free if that's just not possible for your family, but you need some time. You need some hours kid-free. Okay, let's jump into number 2. This has been a really big game changer for me. I now separate my high cognitive tasks and my low cognitive tasks. And that precious no kid time is just for high cognitive tasks. Nothing is allowed to distract me. All distractions can wait until 3 p.m. We're actually expecting a lot of distractions around 3 p.m. It's gonna be a distraction party. So all distractions can come back then at 3 o'clock. Jokes aside, that kind of hyper focus is the secret behind all those gurus who say they get a week's worth of work done in a single day. Getting down to it and focusing, you can really get a lot done in a short period of time. So that's what you gotta do with that precious limited alone time. Okay, tip number 3 is almost a repeat of number 2, but I think it's a big enough special case that it deserves its own point. Here it is. Never clean when you're alone. Yeah, I know it's 10 times faster when you're alone, but don't do it. For one, cleaning is the epitome of invisible work. No one notices when something is clean. You only notice when it's dirty. So no one in your household will have any idea about the hours you spend keeping your house clean if you do it when you're alone. Whether you are the primary maintainer of your house or not, but I'm guessing you are, everyone should know what goes into maintaining a home. My kids are 5 and 8 now, and it's their jobs to empty the dishwasher and put away their own clean laundry. And when they don't want to do those tasks, they will whine to me, "Well, what are you doing?" And then I will list off the 20 things I've recently done to shut up their little adorable faces. But the point is, even though I've had a never clean alone rule for a while now, they still can be oblivious to how much I do. For anyone who is not the primary maintainer of a multi-person household, it is really hard to comprehend how many freaking hours of work goes into that. So don't use your precious alone time to clean. Even though it takes longer with the kids around, it can be done. And it's good for them to see the effort that you make for the family. So when you ask them to empty the dishwasher or do something to help their little sibling, you know, for the family, they understand that we all do things for the family. Okay, the next tip is one that I've struggled with mentally. As I've gotten better at not letting things interrupt my alone working time, that means I've got more stuff to do when the kids are around and they're getting less of my attention. And this makes me feel like a terrible person. But what I try to remind myself is, There are times when the kids and I are having quality time together, and there are times when I'm simply there to provide safety and supervision, and I'm not there to provide attention and entertainment. And that second one is also important, not just for me to keep me from going insane, trying to do 30 hours of things in every 24-hour day, but also for them. Intellectually, I believe that it's not good for kids to have 24/7 parent-provided entertainment and always have a parent looking over their shoulder. So why do I feel guilty when I don't do it? I don't know, but I'm working on it. I have to remind myself that this is not quality time, but I'm providing my kids with a safe environment to have solo play, and solo play is also important. I'm being a good example and not being a bad parent when I just quickly address their needs as they come up and then go back to what I was doing. The pitfall here is when they so sweetly ask to play Uno or to read a story, and to be honest, I normally cave. But I'm really clear that I only have X amount of time and then I have to go back to what I was doing. And what am I doing here? I'm setting boundaries and expectations, which is exactly what I want them to learn to do. I think most moms were good at prepping our kids and setting expectations. We know how important that is. But for boundaries, we're almost taught not to set boundaries with those we love. But I want them to learn about boundaries. And the best way that kids learn is by modeling their parents. So I'm doing a good thing by modeling that behavior and setting boundaries with my kids. So to summarize, tip number 4 is to acknowledge that there are times when you have quality time with your kids and times when you're working, either your work or as a parent and house manager. They are different things, and that is how it should be. On to number 5. One way I make myself feel better about knowing there are hours every day that my kids don't have my full attention is also knowing that there are times every day when they routinely always have my full attention. So for me, that's getting ready in the morning and then dinner and bedtime. So that's gonna be 6:30 to 7:30 every morning. I add half an hour the days I walk them to school. And then dinner's at 6 p.m. and that leads right into bedtime. I say goodnight sometime between 8 and 8:30. So that's 3 to 4 hours every day that they have my full attention and can count on me. I know that's nothing to the 24/7 mamas out there, especially the baby phase. It's very much a 24/7 situation. I know, I remember, but imagine spending 3 to 4 hours every day with like anyone but your kids. That's a lot. Even if that was the only time I spent with them all day, which is not the case by any means, but even that alone, that is not an absentee mother. Any relationship where you are spending reliable, consistent hours together every single day, that is absolutely a relationship where you are present in each other's lives. So have that routine time together and know that that stuff counts as quality time. Quality time isn't just the fun stuff. The reliable, routine, everyday stuff is just as, or maybe even more important. Okay, tip number 6 is to do all that urgent crap, running around putting stuff away in the evenings just before dinner, just like you would do if you had an office job and were just coming home. Don't let that stuff take away your precious alone time and make you feel like you've got to have everything done and perfect before the family comes together at dinner time. I mean, it's lovely to have everything perfect and done so you can just relax and enjoy that time together. But this video is about working from home when you have kids. And a huge pitfall there is trying to be both the stay-at-home mom that has it all done and the working mom, which has to wait until the end of the day to start getting it done. We can be good mothers and working mothers, but we can't do 2 things at once. We need boundaries and separation so that neither of those 2 halves of ourselves can overtake the other. For my last tip, I want to talk about bedtime and using that time after bedtime wisely. But I just talked about that in last week's video, which was about finding more time and getting the most out of that time. So if you liked this video enough to watch this far, then I think you'll also really like that video. Really, all of those tips would also perfectly fit into this one. And I do specifically talk about kiddo bedtime and setting yourself up for an enjoyable evening, which is something you look forward to and is like, you know, you can mark it off as a success rather than just falling asleep or being too tired to do anything, which was my routine for way too long. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Hug, and I'll see you over in that other video. Ciao.